Hi, besties, and welcome back to another food vlog. On today's episode, I'm making a very delicious veggie fried rice. I made this over the weekend, especially for my husband. After a long and stressful week, I just wanted to do something thoughtful to help him feel relaxed and enjoy the weekend. So, before the weekend, I went to the market, got all the ingredients ready, and for my veggies, I used carrot, green pea, sweet corn, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, and a little bit of hot pepper for that extra kick. You know how we do it. So I started by putting my pot on fire, added my King's cooking margarine. That's one of my favorite, like you know it. And then I tossed the pot. Then I added in my Korean thyme, to build that rich and flavorful base. Next was, I went in to add our favorite, which is our all-purpose seasoning, which already has everything mixed in, like I always let you know. Nutmeg, ginger, thyme, chicken seasoning, and just more. And then I went into adding my kitchen glory chicken seasoning that gave it everything a good stir. Once that base was ready, I went in to add in my already washed rice. And, when I added that in, I fried that gently, stirring continuously, for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, this step is pretty important so that your rice will, absorb all the flavor and get evenly coated. So I kept checking until I was sure that it was well fried. And after that, I went in to add my favorite seasoning cube for more chicken flavor, which is Knoor Maggi. And then I'll just spread that in and then give it a very good stir, right? And then next is to add in my green pepper and a bit of atarudu. I love my fried rice slightly spicy and it gives it that unique taste and makes it more enjoyable. So why not? And then next I poured in my chicken stock. I added a little bit of water and I stirred everything together evenly. Make sure that I did that and then I went in to cover the pot and then allowed it to cook. So while the rice was cooking, I moved on to my veggies. I heated some oil from the chicken I had already fried. Then I went in to add in carrots, green peas, frying them lightly, so that it stayed tender but not too soft. Okay. And then when I gave that a very good stir, next is that I went in to add in more of green peas, which I already sliced. And then I'll also make sure that I fried that gently, making sure that it stayed tender but not too soft. Next, I went in with some sweet corn, and then I'll make sure that I fry that, give that a very good stir, and then before adding the next thing on the list. So next is that I'm going to be adding in my red bell pepper. After adding that, I'm going to go in next to adding green bell pepper. And lastly, I'm going to be adding in my yellow bell peppers. And then when that is added, I'll just stir fry everything for a few minutes. After I do that, I will just go next to also adding some already blended atarodo, which is known as Scotch bonnet. And I'm going to be adding that for that gentle heat. So I'm going to give that again a go stir. If you're like me that loves spicy food, this is definitely for you. But if not, you can totally skip this part. But I always love that my rice is a little bit spicy and unique, and that's me. That's how I like my fried rice. Although, while cooking, I couldn't just stop thinking about how much my husband was going to enjoy this meal. I just wanted to give him something special. And trust me, it was literally worth it. Okay, so I'm adding in my spring onions down there and I'm just going to give that a good stir. So it's time to check my rice and oh my god, this is so amazing. The rice is ready. Can you see that gorgeousness? So green, so colorful, so lovely. I didn't use any fried rice spice at all, just my proper ingredients and the rice step. And trust me, you can get your fried rice this beautiful when you focus on the base and the seasoning. So once everything was ready, I brought out the veggies and the rice together, added the veggies directly, into the rice, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to stir that in very well. At this point, I was already in love with this meal. I even called my husband to come and see what I was preparing. He was like, "Oh my God, this looks so amazing and so veggie." Oh, and I was like, "You know what? Just go and sit and relax." So I gave it a final toss, and honestly, I completely fell in love with this dish. One thing I will always say is whatever you do it with all of your heart. And cooking is something I'm truly passionate about. It helps me relax, takes away all the stress, and it's genuinely makes me happy. So if you want to punish me, just tell me to go and cook. I will gladly do it. Now, let's talk about this final look. Can you see how colorful, fresh, and ready to eat this fried rice is? Absolutely beautiful. I plated it, nicely because I was set to already serve my husband. And then I just went in to add in my already fried chicken on the side. That chicken was crunchy, just the way I like it. If my chicken isn't crunchy with that cracky sound, then it's not my chicken. So after serving my husband, I served myself too. I took a few videos and I poured myself my favorite sparkling wine. I tested the rice first, and honestly, just one bite. I wanted to end this video and just go and enjoy my food, but I had to finish up first, right? So I put that in, and I needed to definitely cool myself after making this delicious meal. Trust me, I needed it. So that was it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I would love to know if you're going to be trying this recipe. And I'll see you in my next food vlog. Bye.